Tulsa looks good on you.
Hey there and welcome. Tulsa looks good on you and Tulsa looks great on Morgan with Modern Cottage. I am so excited to meet with you, Morgan, and learn all about your darling store here on Cherry Street. So I know you got a really cool backstory about how you came into entrepreneurship and having your own place. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I come from a family of business owners. My great-great-grandfather opened a store in Collinsville, which is a town north of here, in 1887. It was a hardware store, and in the very beginning, hardware stores back in the day did a little bit of everything. They did undertaking. Of course, he sold furniture and appliances and farm equipment. And he was a mayor at one point of Collinsville, and it was passed down from generation to generation. So his daughter, once she married, her husband took on the business, and then the business added his name. And so it ended up with my grandparents in, I can't remember what year they took it over, but once Walmart came to town back in the 80s, they unfortunately took out a lot of mom and pop shops. But their business was in business for over 95 years, and they had closed in the 1980s. And so my mom had grown up in the hardware store as a child and into her 20s, and it was always her dream to have a store as well. So fast forward to her later years when she had retired, she wanted to open a store. So she opened a little vintage shop in Owasso. And I worked for her through that, and whenever I would be a teenager, people would always ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I knew I just wanted to open a store. I didn't know what kind of store. It was just in me that I wanted to be a business owner. And so then fast forward to 2017, I took the leap with the help of my dad. He is a co-owner. And he just has believed in me, and I've learned so much from my mom with her business, and then just hearing the stories over the years from my great-great-grandparents, my grandparents, and they're just such an inspiration, and so I hope to make it a fraction of how long they made it.
I just love that story, and it's so inspiring. And your store here is darling and inspirational. I mean, what inspires you, and how did you come up with all the cute decor and things that you have here?
So what inspires me, I think, is I've just always had a love of home goods, and I always wanted, when I was a child, the input of my room, it just starts out little like that. Of course, I love to shop. What girl doesn't? And then it really helped my mom, before she had opened her shop. She was an interior designer as I, grew up. And so I just really learned from her, and I had a love for vintage. It really started with that. So I started with a little booth at like a flea market, and it just grew from there.
I love watching your growth and how you're also making Cherry Street in Tulsa a better place. You're making it pretty, which we appreciate. So what do you love best about being in this part of town?
Oh gosh, I love just the historical, history of Cherry Street. That was also another thing before I had a shop. I remember my dad asking, probably in my early 20s, saying, if you could have a shop anywhere you'd want to be, where would your dream shop be? And at the time, I'm thinking Tulsa because I lived here, and I go Cherry Street. My dream would to be on Cherry Street, and especially the Colonial building, and that is where we ended up.
You visualize it and you made it happen.
Yes, I really have believed. A lot of people ask, how did you get here? And I could go into detail about all the little things that led to this point, but I really feel like I prayed and spoke it into existence.
Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, you just have to believe in yourself, and just go for it.
Action.
Yeah,
so
people ask all the time, how can I do it? And I'm like, you just have to do it and believe in yourself. If you have the passion, it will work out.
That's a great message. So tell everyone where they can find you specifically, or the best places to find you online.
Well, you can find us here on Cherry Street in the Colonial building, 1325 East 15th Street. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, Modern Cottage Tulsa, and we're also online. We have a full website that you can order from. It's shopmoderncottage.com. But of course, come in and see us in person. There's nothing that beats shopping in person and touching and feeling. And we love to help you, put things together and pick out the perfect gift. And we'd love to meet you.
And that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to do a little shopping. And of course, you guys come and check it out and visit Morgan. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.